Hi, I'm Daniel with eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at our CURT Hitch on our 2021 Ram ProMaster 2500. So if you're using this van as maybe a camper vehicle, adding a hitch will make it that much more versatile in that you can have more space, because if you're living in it full time or if you're going on a trip, you're going to need that extra space in maybe a cargo carrier, or maybe you're having a bike rack. It also allows you, if you're using it as a work van, to maybe haul a small trailer. And as you can see, our neighbor today is actually converting this into a camper van. So having that hitch is going to further their experience while doing their adventure. So taking a closer look, we have a 2" by 2" hitch here with a nice shiny black finish. As you can see, the cross members are completely hidden under the bumper here, which is a nice look in my opinion. It also has a 5/8 inch pinhole here. So your hitch will not come with a pin and clip, but you can pick one up here at eTrailer, or usually your accessory will come with one. Now I will recommend getting a locking pin here, just so you keep your accessory safe when you're out on the trail. So our safety chain hole is kind of up and out of the way. It's a little small, but it can still accommodate your S-hook and even your clevis style. Now I'm going to go ahead and get you a couple of measurements you may need to know here. So from the ground to the top of the hitch receiver is about 17 inches. So that's pretty good ground clearance, but that's good to know if you're going up a steep incline and you're not wanting your accessory to hit the ground. Now our next measurement here is from the center of our hitch pin to the outside of our bumper here, which is about 1.75 inches. So that should accommodate most folding accessories that you're going to be using for this hitch. So our neighbor said he'll be primarily using his hitch for a bike rack. And we actually sell bike racks that will rotate out of the way of your door, so then you'll still have access to everything in your ProMaster 2500. This hitch has a total max towing capacity of 5,000 pounds. That is the trailer plus what's ever inside of it. It also has a max tongue weight of 500 pounds, and that is the max weight that can be pushing down on the hitch in this direction. So something to keep in mind is if your ProMaster comes with a backup sensor, that may go off if you're having an accessory in the back of this. But overall, this hitch is great for this vehicle. It's very versatile. It's very low profile, which I like. And getting into the install, it's fairly simple. It's just a bolt-on application, no drilling required. But if you don't have the tools or time to do it yourself, feel free to check out our dealer locator at eTrailer, and we can find someone who can do it for you. And please let us know in a comment or review what you're using your hitch for. But without further ado, let's get into the install. All right, and to start off our installation, we're going to go ahead and open these doors here. And locate these T30 screws in the bumper here. I'm going to go ahead and remove all these. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the ones on the bottom here. There is one here and one here. And I'm going to remove these and then do the same thing on the other side. And once you remove all the fasteners, you can go ahead and pull this rear fascia bumper off. So now we're going to remove these two bolts here in the frame. You are going to want a 16mm socket, but if you do have a drill with a swivel adapter, that might be a little easier for you because they're pretty tight on there. And I already loosened the other side, and I made sure just to leave one of these screws just hand tight in there just so it doesn't come flying off when I removed this side. And we did actually find one more bolt here up under the vehicle. This one is actually going to be a 15mm. So I'm going to grab this and loosen this. So if you do have a backup sensor, something to keep in mind is to make sure to unplug that before you remove this back bumper. And once you get that one removed, make sure to do the one on the other side. And with all that hardware removed, you can now pull that right off. So now with our bumper off the vehicle, I laid out our hitch here. And you're going to see a hole on this side of it. you're gonna wanna put your fish wire in, and it'll come out this big hole on the front. So you're gonna wanna put your hardware on, and then your bolt on. Now you're gonna wanna pull all that through. And then do that on the other side. Now once you get those both fished, you're gonna wanna put the line through the hole on the hitch here. Now I'm just gonna lift this into place. Make sure our bolts come through. And then something that could help you is that these bolts here will go through the bottom hole, and that can hold it into place for you too while you're trying to get those bolts in. Now I can go and take these off and get my nut on. So now I'm going to go ahead and torque these two bolts down. I'm going to do it on the ground just to make it a little easier. I'm going to torque them to the specs and the instructions. If you don't have a torque wrench at home, you can usually rent one from a local auto parts store, or we do sell them here at eTrailer. Another thing I did notice is a socket won't fit directly on there, so I am going to be using a crow's foot just to be able to get this in there. All right, now you can go ahead and lift your hitch and your bumper into place. So your kit comes with hardware, so you can use that instead of your existing hardware to bolt this into place. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that new hardware down with a 14mm socket. Now I'm gonna come to the back here and put the existing nut back on and get that tightened back down. And once you get everything tightened down, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them to the specs and the instructions. Now you can go ahead and put your bumper fascia back on. Now's a good time to re-plug that backup sensor back in if you do have one on your ProMaster. I'm gonna slide that into place, get my T30s and start at the bottom and put those back in. All right, and with that, you're ready to hit the campsite with your new hitch installed on your Ram ProMaster. I'm Danny with eTrailer. Thanks for watching.